Today we cruised through the Gerlache Strait and ended up going through the Neumayer Channel, and it was just extraordinary.
Well, this is Saturday, the 28th of January, and you can see we've got some small icebergs here, just kind of floe ice out in the channel that they're navigating around. And we're basically heading towards Gerlache Strait, and looking forward to seeing that. And especially Charlotte Bay is right at the entrance to Gerlache Strait, so it's supposed to be very scenic. Unfortunately, we have kind of a real low overcast, as you can see here, so that's going to limit our visibility of any higher terrain.
Lots of icebergs in the water.
So we're over on the port side of the ship now, so this is actually looking at Antarctica for real. That's the Antarctic Peninsula, and you can see they're going around a little bit of floe ice out here, and doing a pretty good job of not rubbing up against it. I wish these low clouds would rise up and give us a better view of the higher terrain, but maybe as the morning wears on we get a little more sunlight, a little more temperature here to get away from the dew point a little bit. The fog and low clouds might lift up for us.
Yep, the scenery was pretty outstanding.
Well, over there at 10 o'clock is actually one of the larger icebergs that we've come across so far. Fortunately, it's kind of tucked up against the side of the passage there, so it's not going to be any problem for us. So most of the stuff that's out here in the channel is pretty small, like that one, and there are a couple of little ones out there. Actually, that one over there, that's probably big enough that they wouldn't want to run into it with this boat, as it doesn't have any ice sheathing at all. This is a Caribbean boat, so they'll give those a wide berth.
Some of these icebergs kind of look like water ski jumps.
But you can see the overcast is still pretty low, and they've slowed way down because of this ice. I'm up on the bow of the ship right now, and there's hardly any wind speed coming over the front of the boat, as they're going real slow in the presence of this ice.
We were rather surprised to find some other boats down in the strait.
Okay, so the captain just came on and made a public address announcement. We're going by the entrance to, oh, there's a whale. I don't know if it'll show up in this with this normal lens on instead of the telephoto lens, but a whale just surfaced in the frame there to get a breath. Anyway, we're going by the entrance to Charlotte Harbor, and as you can see, it's full of icebergs, so we can't take this ship in there. The ship has no ice protection, so rather than try to go into Charlotte, we're going to press on down, he said, for about another hour to get to Wilhelmina, and that's supposed to be real pretty. He said the reason they like to go into Charlotte is mostly they usually see a lot of whales, but we can't go in there. There's just too much ice.
Some of the shapes that the wind and water would carve these icebergs into was really extraordinary.
So we're going to press on down to Wilhelmina. Take us about an hour to get down there, and hopefully we'll get some good shots down there. Also, you know, this low overcast that's over the bay, I don't know what our shots would look like in there anyway, but I guess he said the purpose of going in there was they normally see a lot of whales, so I guess the low overcast would not have interfered with seeing whales.
There's a shot coming up taken low through a lower deck, through a window on the ship right here. You can see the reflection of the chairs.
This is looking back towards Charlotte Bay. You can still see we have the low overcast. There's some pretty good size little icebergs, but this one coming up right here, I think that would be enough to cause some real trouble if you were to run up against that in a ship like this. Looks like we're headed for some fog there. We might lose our visibility here in a few minutes.
It did get a little chilly standing out on the deck all day. The most important thing was to have a good set of gloves.
Yeah, there's delightful little light snow falling right now, big old snowflakes. And they were just commenting on the fact that this iceberg, only about 10% of it is visible. The other 90% is under the water.
It seemed like the low-hanging clouds were always moving.
Well, I didn't have my camera ready, but a whale surfaced right next to the boat and breathed, and we very clearly hear him take his breath. That was pretty cool.
I really enjoyed dining with this Canadian couple, Al and Mariska de Jong. They're really sweet. I hope that we get to run into them again sometime.
So we can see this other cruise ship cruising up towards that other berg. They reminded us a moment ago with an announcement that only 10% of the iceberg sticks up above the water, and also that occasionally the icebergs just flip over. The way that they melt, the center of gravity changes, and they'll just flip upside down. So, I mean, if you were on the iceberg all at once, you're under the iceberg. So I guess these cruise ships have to be careful about exactly how close they come in case that berg decides to roll at that moment.
Some of these channels were really narrow. I just couldn't imagine going through it for the first time on a sailing ship where you weren't sure you could get back out of it if it was a blind alley.
Well, here we are entering Wilhelma Bay, and as you can see, there's a little snowstorm going on, and quite a few bergs and growlers in the water.
You can see the top of the waves being whipped off by the strong winds.
Right at him. Oh, he's got a friend right there with him. There's gonna get the tail. Gonna get the tail. No, he deprived us.
I think we could take us around. The other thing is notice, port and starboard, the ice cliffs, they're constantly.
A black and white and gray world. Some pretty rugged looking peaks.
So it's Saturday afternoon now, and I've been out here on and off for about 6 hours enjoying the scenery, and we're basically motoring to the end of the Gerlache Strait. And as I was learning from some of our fellow passengers and crew members who were up on the front the other day, they were saying they only make this passage about 3 times during the season.
I probably should have shot with my telephoto more often, and I probably would have gotten more shots of whales.
Okay, so we believe the narrows ahead are the entrance to the Neumayer Channel with the Gerlache Strait off to our left, and this narrow entrance to the Niemeyer Channel being straight ahead. Cut in the mountains right there kind of explains a lot of the winds that come rushing down from the highlands.
Happy Canadians.
Well, there it is, guys, the Antarctic Peninsula. We're just coming down towards the south end of the Kurlash Strait, and got some pretty nice weather right now. So, oh look, we're being invaded by Canadians.
A, Canadian A.
Some penguins having a pool party on top of an iceberg.